Hello friends, in this video you're going to learn about how to become a public school teacher in California with a foreign degree. I think this is the most important thing, the last part. If you have a foreign degree, which means that is you completed your education, college education and schooling outside of United States, more specifically somewhere in the South Asian countries or Asian countries, and it's also actually applicable for Europe and Africa and other countries as well. But I think my experiences are more actually around the Asian countries, but quite relevant for other countries as well. As you know, that is, I mean, while I was going through this process initially, it was really actually tough to find out precisely what to be done to become a public school teacher within California. It's easy to kind of get into preschool teaching, like a private school preschool teaching, but if you have to become a public school teacher, like kindergarten, middle school, or high school, the process is not like quite clear and well defined with a foreign degree. So let's actually dive into what things that is actually needed, and it's a lot easier from a process point of view, and I'm sure you find it a lot easier after going through these details. So what we will cover in this? So first of all, like decide is teaching is for you, and some of the pre-work that you can do, then applying for the teacher credentials, things you can do while waiting for the credentials, and various exams and trainings, and applying for the job. Those are the things that you can that you will learn in this video. So the first thing is like decide. Okay, sorry, I think I just clicked on that next video. So the first thing is decide this is for you. So what it means is uh, teaching is not kind of, it's not like really high paid compared to like IT work, which is technical side of the equation, or other jobs. Teaching is comparatively less paid or low paid job, and also it does require a passion to teach kids. There is a lot of work involved. So first actually decide it's for you. And unless you have a passion, I think it's not something that is you'll be able to sustain for a longer duration. So decide that. And also it is intense in a lot of ways. So also just take that into consideration. The next thing is pre-work, like how you get prepared to become a teacher. So the first step in the process is like getting your foreign certificates evaluated. So this is basically like all your certificates kind of you submit it to an agency, and you can just Google it. So that is foreign certificate evaluation in Google it, and then you will see list of forms within the California or within like around the place that where you live, and you give it to them all your original certificates, and I think they charge anywhere between like $500 or so to evaluate the certificates. This is the first step, and which you should must actually do it, not just for teaching, but any other jobs, like any other government jobs kind of thing. You need this. So the usually that the certificate evaluation takes anywhere between kind of like a month, 1 month to 45 days kind of thing. You can also fast track that, but yeah, I think you don't need that, given that you have other things to do anyway before you get the certificate evaluation. So that's the first step. And so the second step is applying for the teacher credentials. So once you get that certificates evaluated with that company, then you actually apply for your teacher credentials. So basically, teacher credentials is nothing but you are applying to California CTC, which is I think there is a full form for it, but you're applying to CTC, which is a governing body. They verify all your credentials, nothing but your education background and everything. and then they give actually a credential, which is nothing but a certificate for you to teach within California. And so usually for you to actually just become a public school teacher, you would need 16 years of education. So if you have done like your education in the South Asian countries, so usually it is 12th grade, and then plus a degree, which actually there is a 3 years degree and 4 years degree in majority of those countries. If you have done 3 years degree, then it is considered as 15 years of education. You may need to do additional courses to kind of bridge that gap of like 1 year. But if you have done like a master's, or if you have done like a 4 years bachelor degree, I think most likely your credits, basically the education qualification should actually be sufficient, adequate for you to become a teacher. But in any case, like just go ahead and apply, and CDC will kind of let you know if you need to do additional courses or anything that's needed to become a teacher. Assuming that is you have 16 years of education or more, then what CTC will actually just return you is a certificate or nothing but a credential, which is valid for 5 years, and then you can pretty pretty much actually you can apply for your teacher job using that credentials. So any of the public schools, they need that credentials from CTC for you to become a teacher. So this is a must and mandatory step for you to kind of pursue a teaching career here. Once you get the certificate, congratulations. So you are kind of, you can go out and apply for teaching jobs. So while applying for that CTC credentials, you have a couple of options there. You have elementary school teaching, which is a multi-subject teaching. You have single subject teaching, like let's say you have a master's degree or a bachelor's degree in mathematics or computer science, or like let's say here some history or a social, and if your passion is to teach one of those subjects, those are considered as single subject teaching, which is meant for middle schools and high schools. Multi-subject is meant for more like elementary school. So you can apply whichever one that is you would like to pursue your career, you can apply for that. So that's on the teacher credentials, and the website is ctc dot, I think the org or gov, but just say CTC. I think you will be redirected to that website. Create a login, and then just fill in all the details. So once you fill in all the details, you need to mail with a check. All the instructions are there on the website, so it's fairly straightforward. Mail the check with the application, and also the credit or the certificate evaluation report that you have received from the agency. So that's basically a major step there, getting the credentials. Once you get the credential, as I said, like you get like a 5 years valid teacher credential certificate. So the so it doesn't end there. Just you get the once you get the certificate, there are more steps to be done, because it's basically it's like a temporary permit kind of thing. It's not like a full-blown thing. Then you have to do several things that you can do parallelly while you're waiting for the credentials. Let's say let you submitted, and as I said, like it takes anywhere between 1 month to 45 days to get the credential. So you can do several things in parallel. There are several exams that you have to pass once you get the credential. So irrespective of whether you have 16 years degree or more education, you have to pass these exams to be a teacher within California. So you can prepare for those exams while you're waiting for your credential. So one of the tests is CBEST test. Again, you can just search it in Google, and then it'll give you all the details. This has like three things. The CBEST exam has three papers, major papers. One is mathematics, and the second one is English reading, and the third one is English writing, if I'm right. So you have an option to take an online test, which is basically a quick, fast way of passing the test. Or you can also actually appear or take community college course. So my suggestion is like depending on your fluency in English, I think most of the South Asian country background, they're good in mathematics, and also the mathematics is more like a multiple choice kind of exam. So you can take mathematics exam, and then for English reading and writing, you can take a community college course. So the community college course is anywhere between, like, it costs around like $200 or $300, not like really costly. And it is kind of like it takes it's relatively easy to get through the test than just writing the exam. Again, it depends on your fluency with English and other things. So those are the options that are available for CBEST test. And get your resume ready, because as I said, like as soon as you get your credential, you can actually apply for jobs with the credential. So you don't need to wait for any of these exams to be completed as well. Then prepare for the interview. So yeah, like for preparing for the interview, you just actually kind of do some Google search and watch some videos and that kind of stuff, just to get an idea in terms of what questions that they ask and in the interview and those kind of things. So these are some of the things that you can do while waiting for your credential from CTC. Once that is kind of that, let's say that is you got your credential from CTC and also you did some of that preparatory work, then you can go out and actually just take those tests, the CBEST test. This is something that is now you can apply for the job, like given that you have the credential, and you can also clear this CBEST test. So CBEST test is really important here because it's actually a time-bound test. So you will have 1 year time from the time that is actually you applied for your credential. Let's say you applied for your credential in September 2023, you will have time till August 2024 to complete this test. It's not the time that is it's not the time that is when you get your credential from CTC. Let's say, I mean, you applied in September, you got your credential in November, so the 2 months is actually taken into that 1 year timeline. So that's why it is very important that you prepare for CBEST parallel while you're waiting for the while you're waiting for your credential. So bottom line, you just have to clear that CBEST within a year time, so which is a time bound thing. So that's why go ahead and actually kind of appear for the exam or do community college course, but you have to clear that within a 1 year time frame. Then there are other exams also. This thing, the CTEL or CLAD, that I think it comes like a more like you have to complete it in the second year, if I'm right. So again, it's a time bound thing. These are the two tests which are actually time bound. The others are like really minor trainings and things like that, so which are not really a time bound thing. You have to complete in 5 years, but they are like fairly simple trainings. So that's the CTEL is the other one, but worry about CBEST. I think the rest of the things will fall in place later. Uh, then let's say you've been absorbed by a school, then there is something called teacher induction program. That is something that school will sponsor that. So you don't need to really worry about that now, but just for you to be aware that even after getting the job, there are some exams as well as this teacher induction program that you need to complete while you're working as a teacher. So it's not that once you get the job, like you're done and dusted in terms of exams and training. There are some things that you have to complete as well. Um, so uh, the important thing, like here, I mean, exams, I think there are books and then there are a lot of material that's out there that you can prepare. But how to actually just prepare for your interview? That's where the next step, that is applying for the jobs. I would share two tips here. So one is how to prepare for first of all the job application. Uh, so the one thing is let's say you live in particular city and then you prefer basically applying for jobs in that city, schools in that city, because that's close to you, your house, and then commute will be easy and all that. I totally get it. But don't limit yourself like applying only to that school district during your job application process. So just go ahead and apply for any job in your area, like it may be like 30 miles away, 40 miles away. Just go ahead and apply for any job. The reason I'm saying that is like what you need in this process is the experience with the interview process. Let's say, I mean, since I mean this is something that you only gain by just appearing for the interview, and let's say if you're actually just narrowing it down to only in your city, then you're limited with the number of interviews that you're going to get, and then you may not actually succeed because if that's the only interview that you're attending. So that's why just go ahead and apply for like as many jobs as you're like within whatever 30, 40, 50 miles radius, and then appear for all those interviews. So through that process, you kind of gain a lot of experience in terms of how to appear for what kind of questions that they're asking, how you can actually just orchestrate yourself, how you can present yourself for all those details. So that's number one, tip number one. Uh, then the other thing is talk to your kid. I think that's a major thing. Assuming like if your kid is like whatever elementary or middle or high school, depending on the job that you're applying, talk to your kid or your neighbor kid in terms of how their classroom is, what do they do in the classroom, what tools that they use, and all sorts of things. I mean, that information is really going to be valuable. Then the third thing is like you can also talk to some of the teachers in your kids' school or in general, anyone. I think they generally be nice and they will be open to share some details around that. So those are some of the tips for applying job and appearing for interviews. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it is it is a fairly straightforward process. I think lot of us actually just carry a tremendous experience in terms of education experience and also passion towards teaching. It is just that the process is not fairly well documented, and that's where we end up actually not kind of taking those jobs or appearing for those jobs. But it is a good thing. And then there is also there are a lot of um, county level or city level job fairs that take place. That's also another best place where you can go out and appear in those job fairs. And I heard at times that is you don't even need a credential, depending on the urgency that they have for the job, that they will just actually absorb you and then they will help you applying for all those credentials and everything. So that's also like another route. Just look out for some those job fairs in your city. Yep, those are the details. If you have any questions, leave your question in that YouTube description or comments, and I'll get back to you. Wish you good luck.